everybody. It's good to see y'all. Long time no see.
Long time. It's been a minute.
It has been a busy year for all of us, but we're back. It's good to see y'all. Well, we don't see y'all, but it's good to just be here.
Right. It is. I love doing these.
So for those of you, if it's your first time joining, hi, I am Hunsi Soleil. I'm one of the priestesses over at the Black Spectrum Network. I'm goddaughter of Hugan Zo, and the facilitator of the Charm School Mentorship. And I am here with my good sister, LaBelle Venus. I'll let her introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Hunsi LaBelle Venus. I am also one of the priestesses over at the Voodoo Institute. I currently have, like the Conjure Mentorship that's going to be starting up in November. So for those of you who are interested, please join. Also, a lot of you know me as the cosmetic chemist, which I am, the cosmetic chemist of Conjure. So I will be having some upcoming classes included in the Magic and Makeup series. I think that we're going to probably make some more lip gloss, but we're also going to be making some body oils and some perfumes and things like that coming up, you all. So just stay tuned. I know I haven't been too active lately, but like we say, we're back in action.
So we are here for mess tonight. And we've labeled this a celebrity reading battle, but it's gonna just be chit chat and girl talk. We're here for the gossip. I'm interested in seeing what LaBelle Venus uncovers. I'm sure she's interested in seeing what I uncover. It's funny because I felt initially like, oh, it's a slow news week, and then I opened my app and was like, okay, there's a lot happening.
Yes.
I am going to try to stay away. And I think Venus is too, some of the heavier topics. We wish the family of Takeoff, peace and comfort at this time. We hope that his soul rests. We know that some people like to do readings on folks this early, but I'm not one of them.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to stay to people that are still, walking around and alive, and we're going to try to keep it lighthearted tonight. Also, because we know a lot of y'all tired. These placements are beating our ass.
I was going to say that when you said you thought it was a slow news week, I'm like, girl, it's not a slow season out here. Like, it's crazy right now. It's like definitely safe inside. So that's kind of where I've been. But yeah, I wish I could see the comments. I don't think I'm going to be able to see the comments this time. Can you see them?
I can see them. Miss Jana Doe says she can't wait because she was looking forward to this. Flower of Life gives peace and blessings. And Josette says she's been waiting to hear about Tia and Corey. So she's excited about your reading. So that's going to be really good.
Good. Yeah, we're going to get into it. I think I found a way to view them. I just won't be able to see them at the same time.
Okay.
So.
All righty. Well, you want to start or you want me to start?
Go ahead. I think you have more people than I do.
I only have 2 stories.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. They're about 2 couples. Well, one potential couple and one married couple. Okay. I switched out. Who was I going to read on earlier? It's on the tip of my nose. It was somebody, and it's good. I'm probably going to do it in a future reading, but then the other one popped into my mind.
Okay.
It's not important, but let's start with Cher, because I feel like this is the most random piece of news that I learned today. Apparently, Cher is dating Amber Rose's ex-husband or boyfriend.
I saw that. I was like, okay, interesting.
Cher, who is 76, has a 36-year-old boyfriend. And it is not a boyfriend that I would have pictured her with. So I'm just really interested in figuring out what's going on with that situation. So, and his name is Alexander. I forget his last name. But
he looks like Cisco to me.
He does look like Cisco with the blonde hair and the tattoos, yes. I want to start by seeing whether or not this is a real relationship. Like, are they really attracted to each other, or is this a publicity stunt? So that's my very, very first question. Spirit, let me know if
If anyone knows in the comments, when did Amber, when did they break up? I didn't know that they broke up for real. But
I assumed it was just going to be one of those many on again, off again situations. But he out here. He out here with Cher of all people. That's just such a random pairing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, so weird. Hollywood is an interesting place.
Girl. It's for me a random pairing. I know it's kind of, it's an old couple, but Whitney and Ray J dated at some point in time, and I did not see that happening. And Ray J never actually talks about it at all.
This is so rude. Hold on. I'm gonna pull a clarifier over one card. Clarify this 9 of Wands for me. This 9 of Wands.
Somebody said he's gonna catch worms.
Who said that? That is so rude.
I'm screaming. Oh my God.
So I don't mean to pull a Bill Clinton, but it depends on what you mean by real relationship, right?
Tough.
I see that it's all sex and money. That's what I'm seeing here. I am seeing that he literally is tired of working. Like he's literally tired of working. And it's not like he's not attracted to her. I think that he loves the fact that she's a legend. And there's a lot of admiration there because he's showing up as the King of Cups in this reading. But we also have the King of Pentacles, the Chariot, and the 7 of Pentacles, and the 9 of Cups. So it's a lot here about him just being grateful for the access to money and for the access to status. Like, that is a real thing. I love the King of Pentacles energy overall, but the King of Pentacles does like to trick, right? And this is Cher. Like, this is Cher coming up as the King of Pentacles, right? So Cher likes to date younger. She just does. She's not afraid to spoil her partners, to pour over them. She actually likes to do it. She likes to dote on her partners financially, right? We have the 9 of Wands, which is a card of resiliency and exhaustion. So both of them crossed paths at a time where they were lonely, right? Because 9 of Wands can represent loneliness. And then we have that King of Cups clarifying, which is like, he needed something that was going to emotionally stabilize him. So her maturity works in his favor because he feels like he doesn't have to deal with kind of the same stunts or things that he would have to do to impress somebody that's younger, right? Chariot is about ambition and drive, but in relationship to love, it's a very lustful energy. So it's very much like she saw him, she wanted him. He was thrown off by how assertive she was. So he was like, well, all right. You know what I mean? It was like they kind of made connection and just went full steam ahead afterwards. Now the bottom row is where it gets interesting. We have the Knight of Cups, the Nine of Cups, the Knight of Wands, the 9 of Cups, and the 7 of Pentacles. So again, this is a very sexual energy. It's a very like, we don't really care what people think. We're just going to do what we want to do and we'll figure it out later, right? But the Knight of Wands is very much like the King of Wands. He's very much like his daddy. This is whole energy. So it's like a lot of sexual chemistry and a lot of flirtation, which kind of overtook her. This is under that King of Pentacles. So that's what he was attracted by the money and the status. She was attracted by the confidence and the flirtation. So that's what made them come together. They like being around each other. They're grateful for one another. I get the impression that, yes, she was dating before him, but she wasn't. She shares, so she knows what happens when she goes out in public. It's like, they're different. I'm not going to take my other hoes out in public, but I like this one, right? So there's a lot of gratitude here, and he's grateful to have somebody that's pouring into him, right? But this is a business move. Again, even though there's a lot of sexual attraction here and they like each other's company, this was very much a business move, right? This was him putting his name out there because, and what I'm getting is I'm looking at the candle, like Amber didn't do for him what he hoped.
Oh,
right?
oh,
No, right? Amber
oh.
didn't do for him what he hoped in terms of his reputation, his persona. So this is very much an investment in his future, an investment in keeping his name out there, right? And Cher too. She, even though she's rich, like there's still an attention hunger there. So both of them did this as an investment in something after the relationship. So short answer, again, it depends on your definition of real. Do they really have a legit attraction? Are they really being sexual with each other? Absolutely. But that doesn't mean that there isn't also an ulterior motive to the relationship.
I ain't mad at it. Get your bag, king.
Get your bag, king. And also, shout out to you, Cher. No, because if you're a single woman in your 70s, you've been working since like what, for 5 generations? You better go get you something young and cute. What's the point of accumulating all this?
And
I'm
let
not
me
mad
say this
at either
too.
person.
And let me say this too, like, I'm quite young compared to Cher. So like I had no idea that girl, she was bad back in the day. Like she still looks amazing, but when you go back and you look at the pictures of her, like she was giving what it was supposed
Definitely
to
looks
give.
fantastic for her age because I have
Yes.
to be reminded that she's in her 70s.
Mhm.
So has kept her body up, has gotten good work done that's tasteful. But absolutely, Cher was the standard. Cher was gorgeous.
Girl,
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
She's always been a baddie. I want to know how Amber feels. So I'm just going to get straight into the mess.
Oh my God, Soleil. I gotta beef up my questions. I gotta get to the T2.
I want to know because I can't imagine how I would be feeling if my ex was with somebody double my age. I don't know. Like, I try not to judge people, but when it's your ex, it's different, right?
Yeah, and share it that though, like.
So let's see what Amber has to say about this.
So good. Drop them scale emojis, y'all, please. Soleil is showing out tonight.
Child, the Hollywood is showing out tonight because this is just a juicy topic. Just when you think the news can't get any weirder, right? Okay. There was a part of her that was still hoping that things would work out with her ex. Like they haven't been together for a minute, but there was very much a part of her that was holding on, like hoping that it would turn back around. So her seeing this has finally made her realize, like, okay, I gotta put the flag up. I gotta move forward, right? She's allowing this to be something that makes her better. I mentioned earlier that Amber didn't do for him what he'd hoped, right? And he's coming up as the emperor in this reading. Now we know that the emperor is strategic, right? The emperor is about their dominion. She's coming up as the Queen of Swords, which is really interesting because her energy is much lighter than the Queen of Swords, but she needs to be the Queen of Swords in this situation, right? I'm gonna pull a clarifier. Does anybody know her sun sign? What sign is she? Clarify the Queen of Swords. If anybody who is watching knows Amber Rose's sun sign, do me a favor and drop it in the comment section. Yeah, so this is about her laying things to rest so she can move forward, right? Because we know that the Queen of Swords goes through heartbreaks and it's her responsibility to let them gain wisdom from them instead of becoming bitter, right? I think there was a part of her that was even though she knew and very much had signs that their union or their relationship was one of strategy for him, there was a part of her that was continuing to hold out, hoping that he would express some sort of love. And this Four of Swords clarifying the Queen of Swords is like saying that, like, no, girl, you got to let that rest, right? You got to actually let that rest and stand in the knowing of what actually took place. So her learning about this, let me rephrase that. She already knew that they were together. She already knew that they were messing around. But her finding out that it's gone public has made her finally come to terms with the fact, okay, that this is not like I can't be 1 foot in. There is no 1 foot in this situation, right?
Yeah.
In the bottom row, we have the Three of Pentacles, the Seven of Wands, and the Magician card. She's going to feel like she has to, I wouldn't be surprised if she pulled some sort of stunt or did something drastic in the next 3 months, because she's really like in this energy of trying to prove that she's a bad bitch. Like she's going to do something to like kind of regain self-esteem, for lack of better words. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
She's a Libra and she has a Libra sun.
Oh, okay. Okay. That makes sense why she's so hurt. It takes y'all a long time to get over stuff.
Look.
Especially when it's matters of the heart. It takes y'all a minute to get over it. But yeah, she's actually cooking up and in conversations with her team right now. So, and when I say her team, it could be her literal team, like publicists, but also like a friendly energy, because the Three of Pentacles is like, it's the people you collaborate with, but you have friendships based on those collaborations, right? So she's definitely in conversation with other people. And we have the Seven of Wands. So she's feeling competitive. She's like, okay, well, you out here with somebody, I got to be out here with somebody too, right? So she really wants to be competitive in this situation, right? And that's clarified by the Two of Pentacles. So she's juggling. She's actually considering who of the people that she's dating she's going to go public with, right? And then we end with the Magician card, which is, again, mastery over your environment. She's like, I don't like the way this feels, but I'm going to gain control of the narrative, and I'm going to find a way to make myself look like a bad bitch in this situation. So it's interesting. The way that what I gather from this spread is that the way that she feels about it, she's sad because she wanted to believe that she could get him back. And then also there was active denial about the fact that he, dated her for gain and that he's not satisfied with the gain. But now that she's in the reality, she's finally settling into what the situation is. She's like, well, okay, well, I got to get back out there. I got to get my name out there. I got to remind people that I'm desirable. Like, that's pretty much what she wants to do right now, is to figure out a way to control the narrative so that it's focused back on her just being desirable and popping, So I want to ask one more question about this situation. I'm trying to figure out, what does this man do? No, I'm very, very serious, because I still don't understand what this young man does, like, for a living, other than, date famous women.
It's beyond me. I don't know.
It was alleged that he was like a music executive, but like doing what? Like, so I want to know, so 2-part question. I want to know what he does for a living and how he met Cher. Because we talked about their attraction, but I still don't understand how they met.
Yeah. That's a good question. I think we're all wondering how they met.
Yeah, just what environment around each other in. So he is hurting for money. I don't care what nobody say. This is the second time. No, because this is the second time that not only a bunch of pentacle, well, it's only 2 in the 6 card spread, but not only have several pentacle cards come up, but they've come up sandwiched around the 9 of Wands, right? Which is about stress and being like at your end. Yes, being resilient enough to figure out a way out of it, but being tired of having to be resilient, right?
Yeah.
So this is really interesting. Clarify this Two of Swords for me. What I am getting from what I'm seeing, though, what I am getting, what I am getting from what I'm seeing, though, is that how they met was actually through business. It was actually through music. I think that Cher was trying to start or become a part of some sort of project, and he was involved in it. It was a new field for him, something that he typically does not do, and honestly, a gig that he took because he was tight for money. And that's how they met. So even though he's in the same field as her, which is entertainment, but it's through taking on some sort of additional type of work that he doesn't typically do, working with a different caliber of clients than what he typically does, that he crossed paths with her. And it was literally out of a need for finances. In the first row, we have the Nine of Pentacles, which is Cher, the Hangman, Two of Swords clarified by Strength, and the Seven of Pentacles. Now, this is independent wealth, luxury, and abundance. This is if I want it, I buy it, like the whole Seven Rings Ariana Grande song. I don't know why that song came in my head, but this is very much somebody who suffers for nothing financial. They have everything that they want and need. Hold on, I'm blocking this weird person. But yeah, they have everything that they want and need, and they can spoil the people around them because they have so much excess, right? So this is very much her energy. We have the Hangman, which is paradigm shifts, turning your world upside down. So these two cards together tell me that she was using her resources to reinvent her career. She was using her resources and her connections to engage in something new in terms of her career. So I think she's probably trying to do like some sort of another album or some sort of project, right? And that's where he came along. Now, he didn't even want to take this thing on in the beginning, right? He had a lot of indecision about it. He knew that it was far beyond what he typically does, but he did it because he needed money, right? The clarifiers of the Strength card and the Seven of Pentacles being, okay, I need to stand in my strength. I need to stand in my willpower. I need to be disciplined so that I can find a way to pull through this situation. Seven of Pentacles being like, okay, well, this is going to be an investment in my future, right? So they met based on business. Through that business, there was travel, right? And then in that travel, and them kind of being up under each other and not around a whole lot of other people, it strengthened the connection. Three of Wands is a card of travel for me. It's long distance travel. So flights, pretty much, and them spending a lot of time around one another. Knight of Pentacles is budding business, but it's also saving and restriction. It's a card of minding your own business, keeping your porch clean. So a lot of the times that they were around each other in this travel, they spent extended periods not being around each other. They were kind of each other's only interaction, right? Then we end with that Nine of Wands, which I think it's interesting that this keeps coming up because it keeps talking about resilience and it keeps talking about being exhausted with having to reinvent oneself. So I do get that the way that they met was it was in collaboration for some sort of project. And both of them had deep investments in it. Her with the reignition of her career, and him, yes, with the reignition of his career, but trying to ignite a career that was more financially stable for his future. Yeah, that's really interesting. It makes sense. It's the only way that I could think of that they will cross paths.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. I think I'm good on questions about them. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. Hello, Omamore. Thank you for dropping in.
Hey, girl. Hey. Okay. I guess I'll chime in with the next couple reading. I feel like this one's going to be good. If I'm not mistaken, like, I think Tia is a Cancer. I think she's a Cancer. So I'm going to just get straight to the point and kind of see like why it is that they split. because I feel like, they being real secretive, which is their right, but there's really not a ton of information that's out about their divorce, to be honest. I think it was her, Tia. She posted a picture on her Instagram saying that she still loved him. So yeah, she did. She was like, "I love you," and I know this breakup kind of caught me off guard, low key. So I'm gonna go ahead and see y'all exactly why it is that they are splitting. Why are they breaking up? What's the tea on Tia and her man? Okay. And if you guys are enjoying the reading so far, go ahead and feel free to leave us a love donation. I think our Cash Apps are floating across the screen right now. So something that I'm seeing already is that it took a while. It took a while for them to come to this decision. There's several areas that they had issues in. One being money. I don't know what it is about money tonight, because I know that was a theme in the reading that Hunsi Soleil just did. But Tia, I'm picking up more that Tia had issues with his money. You know what I mean? Like he didn't make enough, or he spent his money. He spent his money poorly. It looks like he took a lot of bad advice as well surrounding money. Like his circle or people in his circle. He didn't have the best team all the time. But long story short, so what I'm seeing is that it took a while for them to come to this decision to separate their family. Like, I feel like, especially with the Four of Swords popping up here in the reading, they took some time in deliberation. They took some time away from the public, really to do some soul searching, to see, just kind of weighing out all of the options, just to see if this was a good decision for them. Now, Tia, on the other hand, oh my God, okay, so y'all can't see my cards because of the light or whatever, but this is the Queen of Wands. So Tia is showing up as somebody who is constantly booked and busy, right? Something that is showing up just in general with the cards that I have here is, I think that they also suffered a little bit in the bedroom because of how her career was, right? They weren't always connecting romantically. Something that's also going to be challenging for her is just her feeling internally as if she may not be able to find someone else. This is a little bit of a hit to her confidence, in a sense. Her career is going to be good, right? I see her always being able to walk into new circles and with new opportunities and with new projects being on the table. However, this is something that kind of, affected her confidence in a way. This is something that, which is understandable, deeply affected her womanhood. So it's going to take her a while to feel like she's back in that Queen of Wands energy again, right? Like she's feeling sexual, she's feeling, sensual. What I'm also seeing here is there's a certain level of uncertainty between the two. I feel like with her energy, she feels definitely more confident in the situation than he does. Something that contributed to the two of them splitting as well is there were things in their relationship that they didn't see eye to eye on. Like, you guys, primarily at the heart of this reading, I am telling you, they disagreed a lot about money. They weren't always on the same page as far as intimacy goes in the relationship. They struggled sometimes to, like, as relationships do, they had, a lot of highs and lows. And sometimes it was hard for them to garner a different viewpoint, or get out of those slumps, or to gain a different understanding. It was hard for them at times to understand each other. There was, several issues with communication. And I'm just going to show you some of the, well, you can't see them. So we've got, like the devil in reverse, we've got the fool in reverse, king of pentacles. So not only was she, are you gonna echo?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. So not only was, like she dissatisfied in a sense, like with their love life, at some point they stopped connecting on, like the mundane things, like with bills, responsibilities, raising of the family. There was like a lot of disagreements on those types of things. And at some point, I'm also showing the Nine of Cups here in reverse as well. Like at some point, she just became dissatisfied with how things were in the marriage, like literally an actual just turn off, unfortunately, due to all of these things in the relationship. I think that something that was also really important in their split is, she felt in a way that her husband had a lot of immature traits. Like she views him as someone who was a little immature, a little immature. And it had been something that has literally been like a long time coming. And at some point she just came to an awakening. For some, I know it sounds real one-sided, right? Because I'm just picking up so much of her energy, but don't worry, I am going to see, exactly how it is that he's feeling as well. But a lot of these things that I am seeing in the reading as to why they split are literally, earthly matters. These are, I could see them at times arguing over food. Like, I don't want to eat that. I don't want to eat that. Like, I'm trying to try this new diet. And them just really not agreeing on those types of things. And it was causing a lot of stress. There were a lot of people in their ear. I'm getting family. Like it's their circle, their families, and their friends, right? People got in their ear. Oh man, y'all can't see my cards, but we got the Three of Pentacles again, Soleil, but also in reverse, next to the reverse Nine of Swords as well. So this was their collective. This was a lot of people that they were in collaboration with, that they were in communication with, and it just overall became overwhelming, and it just contributed to a lot of stress and anxiety for the two. I don't think that the anxiety is over at all based off of this entire reading. The stressors, I feel like they're coming to somewhat of an equilibrium, but the stressors and things that I am seeing here for her and her husband, they're going to continue for a while. They feel like this is uncharted territory for them. And I could, it definitely makes sense with these two divorcing, why this reading is so strong on like family, like so strong on the material aspects, right? They are considering, how do we split assets? What's next for the children? Something else that's coming up here with all of these earthly cards, or the earth energy here, is, they're also focusing on health, how they're feeling physically as well going forward, and making sure, just trying their best not to neglect those things. But there's a lot that actually went into the split that I kind of feel like we as the general public, like we just weren't aware of. They're really good at keeping it,
under wraps.
Yeah, under wraps, especially with their community. So, I said I wasn't going to, well, Soleil said we weren't going to get too deep or too dark or too heavy today. So I'm definitely going to keep the questions light. Let me take a look at the comments here really quickly as well. Hey, y'all. Thank you for all of the pink flower emojis. Can somebody confirm this for me as well, just out of curiosity? I believe, I'm not sure, right? Because, you know, Rabbi Google doesn't always have the best information. But is she a Cancer moon and a Cancer sun as well? Like, that's what I believe I saw. So if you all know, just drop it in the comments. Okay. So let's take a look right now at Corey. And let's just see how he's feeling. What's his mental like right now? Because as we can see, a lot of, you know, her energy came through on that reading. So I'm just gonna say, you know, he handsome or whatever. He is though, right? And I want to see where his head is at right now. How is he feeling about the split? And where he's at mentally. So let's see. Yeah, he's feeling very much disenchanted right now. I think that is the perfect way to describe how he's feeling. I know you all can't see my cards, but you know, this is stirring up something that happened in childhood for him, right? Mm-hmm. This is opening old wounds. There's something about him splitting from his wife right now is really triggering to him. He's thinking about, you know, how this is going to impact the kids, and actually surprisingly, like, he's thinking about how present, you know, his wife is realistically going to be able to be in his children's life now. He carries a little bit of sadness and a little bit of concern about what it's going to be like with everyone being separate, and what it's going to be like in general for you know, to have to shuffle the family around. So he's also he's thinking about a lot right now. This is also the energy of him. He's going through a period right now where he feels like he lost his foundation and he lost his footing for a second. He's showing up as well as someone as the gambler. So right now, I get that it's kind of like fuck it in a sense. Like, he may be, you know, acting a little bit impulsively right now, based off of emotion, based off of some of the emotions and the things that he's been going through right now. We also got the Queen in reverse, and we've got the Virgin and the reverse Samaritan here. So this reading also talks about him feeling like, you know, he lost his queen, but he's also trying to be extremely optimistic. I don't know why it's really important for him right now, but something that else that's coming up in his reading is this is a time where he's focusing on not overgiving. His energy right now is kind of something that we say all the time, is like you not being able to pour from an empty cup. And he feels like his cup over this next season or these next couple of weeks or whatever time period this is, he feels like his cup may be empty sometimes. And so he's being realistic about what it is that he has to give to the people in his life. I think that he's also feeling a little bit vengeful because we got the Avenger here next to the reverse Fool. So he kind of, wants to play get back. He kind of wants to be that immature person in the relationship to do something to make the other person mad, like maybe go get you a little sneaky link or something, hit those spots that he knows that's going to upset her. But also with the cards below, it talks about him being like, nah, that's not right. Like, maybe I shouldn't do that because that's only going to make matters worse. And not to mention, he kind of likes to come off not as the victim, but he likes to come off as quite innocent. I actually get the energy of both of them not really wanting to be the bad guy. No one wants to come off looking too like I did this or you did this. And both of them are keeping that in their mental. Like both of them don't want to make this super duper messy, at least not right now. He wants to learn from the situation though. Like he's showing up, you know, there's the teacher at the end of all of this. And this just talks about, you know, life and experience being our actual best teacher. And he wants to try to play positive. I'm not gonna say play positive because he really wants to be positive, but he does have a lot of mixed emotions surrounding the situation. Like sometimes he wants to go out and act out impulsively and be immature and kind of, you know, stir up some stuff and, you know, get back. But at the same time, he goes back and forth on, you know, like, hey, you know, I got to keep it cool. I want to be cool. There's a lot on the table. There's the public perspective. You know, finances are definitely a thing that he has been concerned about. So he knows that he also has to play his cards right. And he can't really, you know, he can't really wild out too much in the midst of this situation, kind of what I'm getting. So definitely, you know, you all like he's trying to hold it together. He's trying to. We could say that for sure. And okay, yeah. So I see the comments they said. So yes, so she's a Cancer sun and a Cancer moon. So that makes sense. That makes sense, you guys. I think I want to do one more question on these two. Like I think I did have a few more, but I just want to do one more. And it's simply because, you know, they do have children together. So I want to know, like, how is this impacting the kiddos? Like, how are the kids feeling emotionally? Especially since, you know, they're going to be affected by the split as well. So let's get into it. Spirit, how is this split going to affect the kids, or how is it affecting them currently? All right, y'all. So this first card that actually popped out is that, whew, okay, Spirit is speaking. The kids are picking this up. They're watching. This is the card of the scribe. They're literally taking in this information. They're seeing what's happening. They're seeing what's going on between their parents. And, you know, whether it be good or bad, we don't know exactly what goes on behind the scenes, but they're learning from the situation. They're literally recording it. It's going definitely into their memory database. This is something that will affect them for the rest of their life in a sense. They kind of feel, because we also got the mentor here in reverse, but the kids are kind of feeling like, you know, they're losing an elder in a way. Like they feel like their support system in a sense is somewhat breaking down. However, they're still being optimistic. They're kind of wanting to fight. I something that I'm seeing here though, like this is the rebel card next to the warrior. They're acting out a little bit. They're going to be acting out and expressing these concerns with the, you know, the family foundation breaking down, but they're going to be acting out in ways that the parents aren't expecting. They're going to be expressing their feelings through their actions and kind of literally being the rebel. There is a desire to, in a sense, to kind of want to be there for their parents, but they know that there's not really too much that they can actively do, because I'm also getting the servant here as well. Once again, we're getting the reverse gambler, reverse vampire, and we're getting the virgin card. So what this reading also talks about as far as how this is going to affect their children, you all, is this further supports, you know, acting out out of whatever their emotions are that they're feeling, as far as, you know, uncertainty, the breakdown of the family, not being able to help, because there's like there's an energy here that's coming through of helplessness. So since I can't help, or since I can't do anything to change the situation, or because this is going to happen anyways, or this is happening right now, they're channeling their energy into things that aren't necessarily going to make this an easy transition. I'm looking for the best way to describe it. It's like, you know how kids sometimes act out because they're mad, they're frustrated, or they're feeling sad, but they don't want to say they're sad, and you just kind of have to ask them what's wrong. That's kind of what's going on here. Also, you know, something else that is showing up in the last roll of cards here is that there are a lot of people in their life right now who are kind of trying to get information, pulling at the family's energy as a whole, trying to like crack the kids, or to get the kids to speak about what's kind of been going on internally in the home. So they're also actually being protected in a way from energy vampires. Right now, the family is doing a really good job at protecting them from people who, you know, are trying to get inside information. But also with the Virgin card, the parents are trying their very best to protect their innocence and to still protect their childhood, or still make sure that they're able to be a child in the best way possible. But more than anything, the kids are just kind of like low key confused and a little bit disheartened. Like they feel like their family's falling apart, and they really don't know what to expect next. I also see them still having a little bit of hope that they're actually going to stay together. So that is it for Tia and her current husband, I think, because I don't believe the divorce has gone through just yet. But that is the read for those two. If you all enjoyed it, if it answered your questions about the two and their split, please let your girl know. Drop the pink flowers in the comments.
Alrighty. So I was tempted to change my topic last minute, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna stick with it. And I'm gonna be really honest, I don't even really know these people very well, or I don't know this particular these two artists. So me doing this topic is honestly just because this issue has been, I just feel it's fascinating that even though this happened like a year ago, people are still talking about it. So Tobe and Fat Nwigwe, I hope I'm saying their last name correctly. Apparently they're musicians. I only know that one Try Jesus song by them. I'm pretty sure if they have stands, other people. I'm sorry for not knowing their music ahead of time. But they did like an interview last year, and he was rejecting her the whole time and like talking down to her. And she was telling the story about how they got together, how they got married. And he said multiple times, no, you wanted me. You wore me down. I didn't want you. Like, was really aggressive about it, right? And
I saw that too. Yeah.
So you know what I'm talking about now, right?
Yeah.
So, and I remember as I was trying to come up with topics earlier today, I saw new, like literally as recent as yesterday, people are still like doing video essays and responses to that interview. So I'm just fascinated by the way people responded to it. So that's actually going to be my very first question, is what about that situation triggered people so deeply? And why is it still something that's being spoken about like in the zeitgeist of Black culture a whole year later, right? So let's see what comes up. Why do people care so much about the Tobe and Fat video? Drop some scales, you guys. I know y'all capable. I see all them pink flowers. And I'm not hating necessarily. I'm just saying you could put just as many scales in the comments as you see pink flowers. And also, if I do say so myself, me and my sister are reading our asses off tonight. And so if you are entertained, if you like what you're hearing, definitely leave us a love offering. Show your appreciation that way. Alrighty. Oh, that's fascinating. Okay. I'm going to pull a clarifier over one of these cards. But the reason why people feel triggered, and the word triggered is completely correct. People feel triggered by this because they feel like what they witnessed is a red flag about relationships that have fallen apart for them. And they almost feel a need to want to save her from something. Clarify this Tower card. Yeah. The judgment is coming from a place of like, no, girl, don't do it, right? We have the Tower clarified by judgment, justice, and the High Priestess in the first row. So again, that Tower card, it's a fear that this is not a stable situation. It's a fear that she's not protected and that things are going to go bad in a way that causes chaos for her. That's clarified by the Judgment card, which is talking about how they have a feeling that or the public, when they see these clips, when they see this clip over and over again, they feel like she's not using her proper judgment, right? And so when you watch somebody who's not using their proper judgment and you feel like you know what the outcome is going to be, it causes like a discomfort, a sense of panic, right? We have the Justice card. I honestly don't think that they have a bad marriage. I don't. I really don't. The justice is about getting back what you put in, getting justice in the situation based on your actions. So they actually put a lot of work into their marriage. But again, people don't see that. What they saw was a potentially disruptive situation. The High Priestess is intuition, it's connection with spirit, it's a deep sense of knowing because you're in tune, and they're really in tune with each other. But again, it's like the intuition of the public is in combat with what they know to be true about their situation, right? Bottom row, we have the 10 of Pentacles, the 9 of Swords, and the Ace of Cups. Again, they're in this for the long haul. They're not going anywhere. They really do love each other. In fact, a huge part of what led them to get married is that they can see future and the building, the leaving behind of a legacy with one another. So even though the public is triggered by what took place, there's this whole other bigger life, bigger commitment, bigger, what's the word I'm looking for? Responsibility that they feel weighted to. So, but this does keep them up at night. They've lost sleep over this. They don't like the fact that that's a narrative around them and their marriage, right? We end with the Ace of Cups. So she's gotten a lot of love based on what happens, but she's also embarrassed by it, right? So it's like she's had a lot of favorable things said about her and a lot of outpouring from other women around her, but she's embarrassed because she feels like she don't need it. She feels like she was being severely misread. So short answer actually I'm gonna pull I feel like there's something else I need to understand about this Ace of Cups. Give me a moment. Clarify the Ace of Cups for me. Okay. I'm seeing this bottom row a little differently now. Yes, they have this marriage that's for them, they're not going anywhere. They're deeply committed to their legacy. They're deeply committed to the tenets that led them to marry one another, right? A lot of the people that see this and that watch this, they want that for themselves. So to see a couple that they know has this in order, and to feel like in order to have that for themselves, they have to compromise or deal with what they saw as a disrespect, it makes them really uncomfortable. Right? Does that make sense? So part of the reason why the public was so triggered is that people don't like the idea of, if I'm going to have marriage where there's legacy built into it, I have to deal with like masculine disrespect. Does that make sense? We end with the Ace of Cups, and the Ace of Cups is clarified by the Four of Pentacles. So the impact that this is having is that people who are already sensitive about love use this as justification to not be vulnerable, to be restrictive, to not try, right? Because if you have wounds around love and you see something like that, then you can automatically go to, well, I'm not trying to put myself out there for no man, because what if they disrespect me? Like, right? So that's a huge part of the reason why the public is triggered. Even though this was just a really specific incident in which they just did not come off well, the reason why people are using this and seeing this as representation of their entire connection is because it touches on, which is what triggers are, it touches on a wound or a fear that a lot of particularly Black women, women of color have about having to compromise self in order to get commitment. So that's interesting. Now, my next question is, I wonder if Tobe has any regret around how he came off in the interview. And if so, how does that show up for him? How has that shown up for him in the last year? Thank you, Isis, for dropping me some scales. I would like other people to drop me some scales too. Drop some scales, y'all. Show me that you're with me. Show me that you're.
Where's everybody at? They're so quiet tonight.
I don't know. They are really being stingy with the scales. The emojis are free, y'all. What y'all doing? Like, show some love. Does Tobe have any regret around how he came off in the things that he said? It's inspired him to work on his communication. Inshallah. Yes. That's all we can really ask for people. Is that they realize that they didn't do the best and that they do better, right? In the first row, we have the Four of Cups, the Eight of Pentacles. Who is this person putting porn things in our you need a life, sir. I'm having to block the same accounts over and over again because they keep putting up weird links.
Oh, I'm seeing it now.
Yeah, that is weird. So I can't get no scale emojis, but y'all gonna let this weirdo come in here and harass us. I see how y'all are. See, that's why we took so long to come back. Y'all don't appreciate.
Oh my God, y'all.
But yeah, we have the Four of Cups, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Nine of Pentacles. Four of Cups is an energy of dissatisfaction, being sad about something that didn't work out and kind of having to sit in the uncomfortable feelings. It's uncomfortable feelings you can't really want to run away from, right? You just have to kind of fixate on what went on, what took place in the past so that you can kind of learn from it, right? So he was deeply uncomfortable with the response and the way he came off. And he was forced to have to sit with the reality of how he spoke to her and what that meant, right? Eight of Pentacles, training and refinement. He took the feedback, he incorporated it into his behavior because he cares about having a prosperous marriage with her, but he also cares about the way he shows up as a husband, right? Why am I doing this? I'm trying to hold it one hand. So again, he did the work to fix what was going on because he didn't like the representation it had of him as a man, right? He is very traditionally masculine, very, very prideful. And even though he cared about how it meant in the context of the marriage, he didn't like the way that it made him look as a man. The way that it misrepresented him as a man. His ability to show up in the world as a husband and father in a really particular way is literally wealth to him. It means so much to him. So for him, it was about, okay, I got to sit with what I did so I can really figure out how it is that I came off, because I don't want to have another situation like this. I truly don't get that he meant to hurt her, but his tongue and being too playful had been an issue in the past. And this was something that, unfortunately, it had to happen in this kind of big, embarrassing way in order to even get him to acknowledge. Because I think he minimized it up until then, right? I think a huge part of their relationship is very playful. Like, you know, those couples that call each other ugly? They'll be like, "I love you, ugly." Like, I think that's a part of their relationship. It's a very playful, like, school ground. I'm a dig at you a little bit. But I think that in the past he had taken it too far, because again, this is still a woman, right? And even if they have a friendship, it still needs to be carried with a certain amount of grace. So this ended up being a straw that broke the camel's back around a conversation that they had been having a lot, that he couldn't fully recognize until he had a public embarrassment and was in a situation where he had to kind of reinvent himself, right? Had to kind of reestablish himself. So the past year has been about him kind of taking inventory and having a new start around his public persona in a way that has been good for him. It's actually opened up opportunities for him too, even though that was not the intention. I think having to have conversations, do follow-up interviews, et cetera, has actually opened them up not only to a new audience, but opened him up to new opportunities in ways that he wasn't really planning for. So yeah, he did have, I don't know if regret is the right word, but he didn't like the way that it made him look as a man. And it forced him to kind of grapple with some things that that he'd been dismissive of in terms of his communication in the past. And he's done better going forward, which is all that people can really ask for in these kind of situations, right? Now I want to see how, and I hate calling this woman fat. I really do. I do, but that's her nickname. That's what she's taking on. So
you ain't had a childhood nickname, Soleil? What was your childhood nickname?
Chubby Cheeks. You remember that? So you did that on purpose. You ain't.
I'll tell them mine too to make it better. They used to call me Cookie. Or Bama.
My childhood nickname was Chubby Cheeks. And if I'm out in public and the right elder walks across me, they will still, in my grown age, will still call me Chubby Cheeks.
Mm-hmm. Being a grown woman, they still pull them cards.
Mm-hmm. But let's see what comes up in terms of how fat has felt over the last year, how this situation made her feel. So what can you tell us about fat's feelings in the interview and the ways in which the public has responded to the retelling of the story around how they got together? Y'all, so living with a teenager is interesting because I'm sitting here shuffling and I just hear snacks being opened in the
He said he don't care, okay?
He's like, I don't care that you're on the internet talking to these people. I need my midnight snack. I need some pretzels.
Okay.
Okay, so, and this is fair. So in the first row, we see, I be saying stuff like I'm talking to an exact person, I'm sorry. But in the first row, I get that it embarrassed her. It really, really embarrassed her. It caused her to really reflect over whether or not her understanding of their marriage was true. So it caused a little bit of confusion of her, but it caused her to spend a lot of time in the mind, right? Like really reflecting on, okay, I know the vision we have for our marriage. I know the plan we have for our future. Like, I know what I committed to, but people aren't talking about me that way. And it's causing me to feel not only alone, but conflicted, right? Not conflicted in terms of whether or not she was going to leave the marriage, but conflicted around whether or not she should even take the risk of having these public conversations anymore, right? So she went through a period of time where she was really considering not just doing any more interviews because of the amount of embarrassment and indecision and confusion that it put on her. She actually held back from doing interviews for quite a long time, according to this Four of Swords, this being a card of rest and recuperation. So it caused her to retreat. It caused her to want to hide from the public. It caused her to be just very confused and uncomfortable with the fact that people had such a different understanding of her relationship than how she personally experiences it. And that made her deeply uncomfortable. In the second row, we have the Six of Pentacles, the Sun card, and the Queen of Cups. He spent a lot of time spoiling on her and doting on her, which is not very typical of him. So that helped a lot in her being able to, kind of recover from the embarrassment, kind of get tapped back into their understandings of what they had in store for their marriage, right? It helped her regain her confidence, Sun card, vitality, just pride. It really made her feel like, okay, well, I didn't make the wrong choice. And as long as I get to feel this way, I don't really care about what other people think, right? So I think I get the impression that right now, she's probably the most secure in just not deliberate, like the most comfortable in her marriage in terms of feeling loved and doted on. But a lot of that has to come from his own personal evolution, which I talked about in the last spread, and him showing up in a way that's different, like very generous, very pouring over her. She feels very taken care of right now, very taken care of and spoiled. Very able. She feels like her nurturing is being reciprocated in a way that's keeping her very like just nourished emotionally. Her cup is full, and she's also just deeply proud of. She again going back to when it first happened, a lot of concern about what people have to say, but because her husband has been pouring the energy into her that he has, and her children get to see her get loved on in a particular way. She's like, well, I don't really care, because like my lived experience and what my babies get to see is me being loved on by a husband who really does care about me, right? So it's been an up and down for her since the interview. Those first few months were really, really rocky and made her feel really, really judged. But now she's at a space where it's like, okay, well, it was just a bad moment. And if people are going to judge my entire relationship off of a bad moment, that's their stuff, because I know what I live every day. I know what I feel every day, right? I have one last question. One last question. Because we know it's one thing how you experience your relationship, but we all know that our close friends and family have opinions and concerns and stuff. So I want to know what people in their inner circle have to say. I also want to get some more scale emojis in the comments, because we still have people here, and I see all kind of coffins and laughing faces. I don't know what the laughing face emoji is for. I know what the scale emoji is for, and the scale emoji gives me energy. And if I'm on here reading my ass off for free, the least that y'all can do is drop a couple scales. Come on now, don't be stingy with those scales. The emojis are free, y'all. Show me some love.
Absolutely.
How do the people around them in their immediate circle feel about their relationship? What do they see? Exactly, Isis. If I can make you laugh, You can drop a scale. Come on now.
I'm screaming.
The scale is 1 button. LOL is 3. Now come on now. Give me a scale. Like, come on. Hold on a second. Clarify the 6 of Swords. I get that Tobe is obstinate. Like, it's not just his wife. Like, he's got a hard-headed ass energy, right? So the people around them know that he loves her, right? And they know that this is a beautiful family. They know that this is a family that's going to be together forever. But there are people, it's like the energy that I'm getting from this spread is like they look at the relationship and they're like, girl, it couldn't be me. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing, where it's like they recognize that there's love there, but there's just a lot about his energy and his demands that are tough to deal with. So it's like, okay, we get that you guys love each other, but damn, we feel bad for her, kind of thing, you know?
Oh my God. Somebody, why are you so funny?
I'm literally reading what the cards have to say. I'm gonna go back to the card that jumped out while I was shuffling because I feel like I got to get through the rest of the spread for this card to make sense. But in the first row, we have the 2 of Cups, the Fool, the 6 of Swords, clarified by the Knight of Swords and the Queen of Wands. Now, 2 of Cups is union. It's partnership in which there's reciprocity, right? So people feel like they represent a yin and yang kind of energy, right? So they fit and pour into each other in a way that makes sense for not just a marriage, but any kind of partnership, even a business relationship, right? Now this is not the tarot definition of the Fool the way this is showing up. This is the literal fool. Like there's things that she deals with and puts up from him where people are like, you got to be a fucking fool to deal with this, right? But then again, in the traditional sense, it's like, okay, she knows that they have goals. They have something that they're striving towards in terms of their connection in this earthly realm. So if she has to, because that's part of the Fool card, it's you taking risks that may make you look foolish to other people. So she knows that there are moments where she looks foolish in this marriage, but again, she doesn't care because she's committed to the deeper partnership and the deeper journey that they're on together. He has a temper. He don't know how to talk to people. And he's very selfish. Knight of Wands. And so this is over the 6 of Swords, right? Which is leaving things behind, going into a future that's better. There are people around him in their circle that feels like if she wanted to, she would be fine without him. She would find somebody equally as good or maybe even better, right? And the reasons that they feel that way is that they feel that he is very impulsive while being he tunnel visions. He can only see the things that he wants, right? Knight of Swords, they're great executors, right? They are great at getting the job done. They hit their marks. They're the most skillful soldiers, but they don't care who they damage or who they fuck up in the process of executing their goals, right? Mm-hmm. So yes, he's great at what he does. And he's well recognized for what he does. But the way that he treats people in the process of getting his shit done is very fucked up. He's coming up as the Queen of Wands. Now, understand there's a reason why he did not come up as the king, because even though he is very charismatic, there's something very emotionally manipulative about his charisma, right? So again, that Knight of Swords married with the Queen of Wands energy, where there's like a lot of charisma, but a tendency to be emotionally manipulative, he's not the kindest person to deal with. So not only is he somewhat verbally abusive, kind of dismissive, overbearing, he's really good at manipulating people into thinking that it's their fault. Like he's very like, You know how some people naturally just gaslight, like they don't even know they're doing it.
Yeah, I can see that.
He's very much in that energy. They've seen her cry. They've seen her have heartbroken moments over his actions. Like they've seen her put up with a lot. So it's interesting because it's like he's not hurting her, but he hurts her feelings quite often. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Again, they know there's a lot of love and joy working with them. Their community feels like family. So they have staff and people that they work with that are probably never going to go anywhere. There's a lot of joy surrounding them. We end with the justice card. So there's hope that, and they have seen him engage in maturation a little bit, but there's a lot of hope that he can do more because even though they are successful, he could be more successful if he gets these character issues under wraps, right? That's Six of Swords, Knight of Wands, Knight of Swords, Queen of Wands. Why am I fucking cards? That bundle of cards that we're talking about his attitude problem is right over this one. So what they are witnessing is like, okay, yes, this shit is annoying to us, but we also know for a fact that you could have been further along in terms of your career, in terms of your life's path, if you were able to get over this character shit. But people know that they're not going anywhere because the road ahead of them is so clear and there is so much for them to accomplish in the future. Like their future together as a couple, as entertainers, is hella bright. So the way that I would summarize this is that people see egregious behavior in terms of them in that marriage, but and we know how Black people are. It's like, okay, well, he ain't hit her. You know what I mean? Like, it's like he's disrespectful. He's a lot to deal with. I couldn't deal with that shit. I couldn't be in a relationship, but because she's committed to it, I'm gonna tell myself that if she like it, I love it. Right? When you have that married with the fact that this is a very prosperous couple, they are going to reach they're going to make a lot of progress. They're going to cover a lot of ground with the work that they do. People really want to be involved in that. So it's a lot of like, I wouldn't say that they necessarily turn a blind eye, but it's very much like until something horrible pops off, it's not my business. I'm just grateful that it ain't me. I'm grateful that I ain't got to lay down with his ass kind of thing. I'm going to go ahead and stop there.
What I will say is, I'm happy that the reading show, like he loved her, he does love her, excuse me. He's made progress, right? And I'm very happy to know that, they have a real and deep connection with each other. But it's almost giving me the energy of like, he loved her, but he could be a real asshole, right?
Yes.
He could be a real asshole. Like he doesn't do, I guess, like the proper work to be an efficient husband sometimes.
Mm-hmm. No, that's absolutely it. He's very, very arrogant. Very arrogant, very tunnel visioned, very, well, if it's not about the goal, if it's not about, the effort, then what are we talking about kind of thing. Mm-hmm. He dismisses everybody's feelings. And that's what I got from that Knight of Swords, Queen of Wands combination. It's like, well, he, of course he don't realize when he's doing it to her because he treats everybody this way. He will insult the fuck out of you and convince you that it's your fault for being insulted.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that definitely did come across. Like I don't remember how many videos. I want to say there was more than one where they were doing the interview about their relationship, and that definitely came across in at least the one that I saw. I don't know if I watched the whole thing because I was just like I was one of those people in the corner, kind of like, yo, hey,
Yeah, I definitely only watched one, and I couldn't believe that people were still talking about it all this time later. But I guess I understand why now. Mm-hmm. They're a beautiful couple, though.
They are. And they put out good music.
They really do. They really do. I'm going to have to learn something more than that one song. But they're a really beautiful couple.
Don't worry. I got you. I'll send you some. So now, y'all, don't get mad at me. Don't kick me off of YouTube, but I'm here to read on your boy, okay? And I know there's kind of been a lot going on and being said around Mr. Kanye West. I couldn't help but just like read on him because like he's always in the he's always there. Like how could I not take a look and see what's going on with Kanye, because Kanye is Kanye. I don't care if me and Soleil hop on here next year, same time, I'm still going to be able to do a reading on Kanye, because guess what? Kanye is going to be giving me something to do the reading on. So I'm just going to take a look and see, you know, what's really going on with him right now, outside of what we know. Something that I'm super curious about is to see just like what's going on behind the scenes with Kanye. Because I really feel like there's a lot we don't actually get to see with him. We get to see the outburst, right? We get to see the statements and things like that, but we actually don't know what's going on behind the scenes with his camp, his circle, and all of that. So that, I guess that'll be my first question here, to see what's going on behind the scenes with Kanye at the moment. For those of you who do not know, I mean, y'all, I've been hearing about him losing business deals. I personally haven't actually went and listened to some of the comments that he has made that has caused him to lose said business deals, but I do want to know, like I said, what's going on behind the scenes. So let's read, honey. Let's see what, okay. Well, we got cards popping out, baby. So let's get it. Okay, so this is a time, you know, this is y'all, there's a lot of people right now that's truly like not trying to fuck with Kanye no more. I'm not even a few cards in yet, and there's people cutting ties with this man. We got like the 8 of Cups, we got the reverse 4 of Wands, we got Justice. Things are catching up with him. Things are catching up with him right now. There's a lot of people that are really just like not feeling him at the moment. And as we know, you know, something that has also come to light is that, you know, he is losing the business deals, which I just talked about. Like he, you know, people are backing out of partnerships with him. Does anyone know what I don't even know if it matters. I don't know what he said, but you know, I did see, you know, the t-shirts with Candace Owens, and I know that he made some comments directed towards, is it the Jewish community? So like, yeah. So those are the things that I am definitely aware about. So there's a lot of excuse me, y'all. There's a lot of blowback coming at him right now. And there's a lot of people that just genuinely aren't feeling him, like personally and professionally. In fact, a lot of people are kind of feeling like it's about time. People are feeling, you know, that it's about time. However, there are a lot of people that are feeling conflicted. Like Kanye right now, also something that's showing up is like the High Priestess in reverse. Like something that is very important is that he's not necessarily listening. He's not in a space of receptivity. He's not listening to his team, to the people who have been put here, or his, you know, his intuition for that matter. I feel like sometimes he knows that he shouldn't say certain things, or he shouldn't do things, or especially act impulsively, but he kind of does it anyway, because he just, you know, he's kind of acting out based off of his emotions or whatever, you know, is happening at the time. So that is what's causing a lot of friction right now. There are very personal relationships for him right now that are definitely like being affected with the reverse lover. Okay, with the reverse lovers card. And however, some of what Kanye has been doing, or some of the things that he's been saying, some of the actions that he's been taking as far as his business, he feels confident in that. Like he's satisfied with some of the things that have been happening, in a way like he feels like I said what I said, and he feels like he's gonna be okay at the end of the day, regardless of what happens. Like there are a lot of things on the table for him that he feels like he's gonna be okay with. Like, you know, hey, You know, I might take some L's here and there, but he really feels like he can move past that, or this is something that's going to be temporary for him. uh he feels like it is going to take him a minute. It is going to take him a minute because we've got the revert, I mean, excuse me, we've got the Six of Swords, reverse death and strength. um he it's going to take him a minute to get past, or he feels like get past, but he also understands this is going to be hard to get past. um there's actually going to be more coming to light, you all, about people who have cut ties with him or feel a certain way about him in the future. And it's going to prolong him getting past this entire situation. He has a lot of contracts, he has a lot of obligations and things like that on the table, and he feels like he does acknowledge the fact that he does need to go take a minute. If you can see that, this is actually a beautiful depiction of this card, by the way. I love this deck. I think I talk about it every time we do a reading, but he does acknowledge the fact that he needs to take a break. He does need to spend some time in solitude, because that's actually something that helps Kanye when he gets into these hysterical states, and when he starts, you know, making a lot of moves that are sometimes out of his control. Something that does help him is going into solitude in a healthy way, though, taking a break, listening to his thoughts. Because something else that's coming across is like, yeah, people can give Kanye advice, but at the end of the day, Kanye's advice is what's the most important to Kanye. There are people in his life that have his ear, and there are people that, you know, be like, hey, I think you should do this. He'd be like, yeah, I hear you. But at the end of the day, Kanye is really one of those people that's like, if I feel like this in the moment, like, this is how I'm going to respond. And so there's been a lot of that happening. And behind the scenes, you know, people, I actually get that some of his long-term supporters, or people who have been in his camp previously, people who are always like, nah, Kanye's a genius, those people are now coming to the point where they're kind of like, oh, this is a real mess. I really genuinely don't know. Like, I don't know if my man is making the right decisions. And a lot of people are just in his personal circle side-eyeing him. Are really side-eyeing him right now. They're like, this is getting really bad. And I think that something that's also being displayed here is that people are worried about not just reputation wise, how his actions affect his legacy, but people are worried about how this impacts him long term psychologically.
Yes.
And they are worried about like how this is going to take a toll on his long term mental health. There's still the energy here of what I'm saying. There's a lot of people rooting for Kanye in his camp and in his circle, and right now there's a lot of moving parts. Like, there's a lot of people like supporting him, like, yo, I'm here for you, let's do this. And there's a lot of people that's just like, hell no, you know, like, hey, this is not what I signed up for right now, you know what I mean? Because what it looks like is that some of his actions right now are actually affecting the people that are around him, and that's causing confusion within the circle for him. So it looks like there's a lot that's really going on but behind the scenes. Something that's also being highlighted is, you know, Kanye is also struggling. He wants to move forward, but he's not willing to, because remember, we got the Six of Swords, we have the Death and the Strength cards also in reverse here. Kanye wants to get past the storm. And I think we joke about this sometimes. Like, so like, you just want to be on the other side of the storm sometimes. You just want to be healed and just skip all the stuff. So in Kanye's case, something that I'm seeing here right now is he don't want to go through, he doesn't want to let his ego take a backseat, is the best way to describe it. He doesn't want to let ego chill for a second and work on those issues. He just kind of wants to be on the other side of it. Like ASAP. He wants to be on the other side of everything that he's dealing with.
Mhm.
Something else that I'm seeing is he is a very resilient person, extremely resilient. And he's going to keep trying to find a way to make his plans happen.
Mhm.
And he also, like I said, he still has people that are riding with him, even though there are a lot of people in his personal camp that are side-eyeing him. He has people right now. He's really kind of trying to keep a really cohesive group right now. But however, he really still has a vision of what he wants his life to look like and what he wants his kids' life to look like. So he's going to continue to go after that, regardless of what's thrown at him. The only thing that's going to stop Kanye is, like, I don't know, something big. It's going to be an extreme external force, because he's not giving up right now, is what I can see from there, which it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense given what we've seen from him previously. So if I'm reading y'all, definitely drop the pink flower emoji. How's your Cash App looking, Soleil? Have you got any Cash Apps yet?
No, they're stingy with the love offerings. They're stingy with the scale emojis.
The
They're
scale?
just a stingy bunch watching us tonight.
Yeah, let the love flow, y'all. Okay, I'm not sure if I want to finish now. I haven't seen no pink flowers in the chat in a minute. Gas me up, you all, especially if you all are enjoying tonight's reading. I'm actually kind of torn. I really want to, but I think I should let Kim K rest, because she's living her life. She's doing the best that she can to move on from this man. But part of me kind of wants to ask, how Kim is feeling, or do we want to know if Kanye regrets his actions?
I want to know if he regrets his actions. I'm more interested in that. Yeah.
Yeah, let's look and see if Kanye actually regrets his actions.
Because Geminis and regret is hilarious. They do not like to admit when they're wrong.
Look, I'm scared to pull these cards. Kanye, child. Does Kanye regret his actions? Is there any regret or remorse that he is feeling at this time? Let's see. Oh, girl, yeah, Kanye definitely regretting some of them decisions. He's definitely, we've got the lovers in reverse, just like first card. He's definitely at least questioning himself for sure. And I think it's very funny that you said Gemini. I actually didn't know that. But so going forward, yeah, Kanye is definitely regretting some of his decisions. Right now, he's taking the time. He's actually going over everything with a fine-tooth comb right now. I'm getting the energy of not only paying attention to a lot of the things that he has said, you all, but also going over legal. This is him scrolling over documents. I wish you all could see the picture here, but this is him, like, literally going over everything with a fine-tooth comb, going over his deals, contracts, upcoming things he has planned. He's looking over everything right now. Because he does, like, he's like, I might have messed up a little bit, but still very much that energy of resilience. Kanye is actually looking for, right now, he's looking for things that he may have missed. There's like a concern that's coming up, is if some of the information that he stated on record is actually accurate. And he's wondering if that's going to have long-term consequences based off of if the information is actually accurate or not. So right now, he's really concerned with his words. He's really, really concerned with if things are going to catch up to him long-term, based off of some of the things that he said, or if right now he's looking at, he's literally looking at the ins and the outs of all contracts. He's purposely trying to gain a different perspective over everything that he has in his life, because what is also being said is that there's a lot of things that Kanye is unaware of, or that he feels that he's unaware of with this particular card. He feels like there are things that he doesn't see all the way. And so right now is the time to really take inventory for him. Right now is really a time for him to review every small detail. No page is being unturned right now in his business life and also in his personal life as well. Kanye is definitely concerned about losing his legacy, which came up in the last reading, but he's also he's deeply concerned. Right now, he is feeling regretful of losing the respect of some of the people that have been in his corner long term. He really hopes that he can rekindle and fix some of these relationships. These people who have poured into him, these people who love him. He really hopes that he can bring those relationships back to life. He really hopes that he can foster new relationships as well. After losing some of the relationships that he has, with all of this going on, he really wants to not only rekindle some of those old ones, but he wants to spark new ones. He's looking for new business deals. He's looking for new business deals. He's looking for new ways to make money, and also to just expand his brand. It's it's not looking too good. I think that there's a lot of investors that are behind the scenes that have pulled money from Kanye West. Mm-hmm. And this is really taking a toll on him. He is exhausted. His team is exhausted. And quite frankly, a lot of people are tired of repositioning based off of his sole actions. A lot of people are tired. He's exhausted. A lot of members of his team are exhausted, and they're just tired of looking around for, okay, well, we fell out with, I don't know, Adidas. If we fell out with this person, they're tired of looking for, and doing, the deep dives to try to navigate when, they feel like he might have had good things set up from the beginning. That also further confirms, us seeing the Ace of Cups. This is us seeing him, looking and wanting for and yearning for his relationships to be fixed. It's going to take a while. It's going to take a while because the last two cards, the last final cards, that I'm seeing for Kanye are the reverse 8 of Wands, but then we end with the 10 of Pentacles. So what this talks about is there is going to be a slowdown in momentum. I feel like this is something that he's experiencing now and also carrying into the next couple of months into the new year. He's still going to be, he's going to be getting shut down. There's going to be major brands. There's going to be companies who are not going to do work with him. Mm-hmm. Projects that he has on the table right now, musical projects with artists, are being slowed down right now. Business deals are being slowed down, or at least paused temporarily until they can figure out what the next step is. However, with this reading ending how it ends, Kanye is still going to be okay financially. Like, he's still going to be able to provide for his descendants. His children are going to be more than cared for, right? However, this has, kind of set up a delay for him. This has kind of put a rock in a hard place for him as far as his business dealings and things like that are concerned. So that's the read for Mr. Kanye. How you feeling, Soleil? You got time for one more question, or?
It's up to you. If you got the energy, and I got time, but it's up to you. I don't feel like I deserve another question, but that's just me.
I mean, I haven't seen anything in the chat for a long time. No laughing face, no scales, no pink flowers. So I think we could conclude it for the day.
Okay.
I think we can.
All right. Well, we had fun reading for you all tonight. We plan to be back in the future. Until then, keep up with us on our social medias. You can find me on Instagram at Hunsi Soleil, spelled exactly how it is at the bottom of the screen. You want to tell them where to find you, Venus?
Yes, you can also find me on Instagram at, La Belle Venus, okay, because I know my name is quite long, but Facebook, Hunsi La Belle Venus. Make sure that you all are also visiting botanicavenus.com This is my spiritual store. Has all of my spiritual products. You can purchase the magical makeup products there. We have lip gloss, body oils, perfumes, all of that good stuff at botanicavenus.com. And also, of course, as always, you can find me at the Voodoo Institute as well.
Mm-hmm. You guys can find me at blackspectrumnetwork.com/Soleil, SOLE, if you want to book a reading. You can also book readings in my website, www.soleilconjureshop.com. At both sites, you can book readings. You can purchase custom-made trinkets and amulets for me. Almost all of my classes are up for, let me not accidentally lie to y'all. Almost all of my classes are up for purchase at blackspectrumnetwork.com/Soleil. By next week, almost all of my classes will be up on soleilconjureshop.com. My Charm School mentorship, which was not supposed to reopen until next year in February, is reopened now. I'm taking new students for December. It's a blessing. A lot of the girls that were in Charm School are now baptizing in the Vodou, so I have to put them in a different mentorship program. So
Yes.
Blessings. It's nothing but blessings as to why it's starting early. But if you guys wanted to mentor under me and you did not want to wait until next year, fortunately for you, you can do so now. Just make sure you join the BSN Discord. The information is in the comments. And from there, you can get access to the application, apply, and then we will go from there. On the 17th of this month, I'm teaching a class about the royal court in the tarot, and we're specifically focusing on the royal couples. So it's going to be a breakdown of the kings and the queens. In addition to your typical information about those sets of cards, I'm going to be talking about how they represent couple archetypes, as well as giving you further insights into how to use those cards as counseling tools, right? It's one thing to say all of the typical shit about a Queen of Cups and be like, oh, she's emotional. It's another thing to be able to look at a Queen of Cups card and figure out what kind of traumas are being brought up when that card comes up. What kind of mother does a Queen of Cups type end up having learned from that falls into how she shows up as a mother, right? Same thing with every other card in that system. So if you want to give, just really good, well-rounded, thorough readings the same way that I and my sister Venus do, I suggest that you enroll in that class. Information is at blackspectrumnetwork.com/Soleil, SOLE. All right, y'all. So we're going to go to bed. Y'all have a good night. And we hope to see you all soon. Take care. Bye.
Bye.